have those super bland bowls of food that they prep in advance. And there's nothing wrong with it, but I feel you can do this a lot better. And that's what we're gonna bring to the meal prep game. I'm in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and in this video I'm gonna show you how to do a food prep, how to find good prep recipes, and I'm gonna give you a ton of tips along the way. How do you start a meal prep and how do you know what you're gonna make? The best way to start is to make a meal plan or a menu on paper. And the first question you want to ask yourself is, what can I eat? And this of course depends on your macros. Whether you're in an energy surplus or in an energy deficit might determine what kind of leeway you have and what kind of food choices you want to make. Now, I'm currently not tracking all my macros, but I do make sure that all my meals contain a protein source and a filler, which is vegetables or soup or any other low-calorie filler. And this is crucial for satiety. Now, if you do track your macros, you want to use MyFitnessPal or any other tracking device to plan your meals ahead. And it can help to make a list of foods that you can eat and use those in order to search for recipes, which we'll get to in a minute. When it comes to planning your meals and making a good meal plan in general, there is one golden rule. Keep it simple. So say you're eating 4 meals a day, then you want to keep the majority of those meals very simple, say only 5 minutes prep time, and spend say 20 or 30 minutes on a larger meal that you could also already partly prep. I already have a lot of easy 5-minute prep recipes on my channel, so I do recommend you check those out. So you do know your macronutrients, now it's time to get your micronutrients in place. I'm not gonna go into too much detail about that now, but you do want to make sure that you eat a variety of vegetables, different protein sources, and that you keep a balanced fat profile. So you know those are a few things that you want to take into account, which brings us still to the big question, what are you gonna make? And here's where my method comes in, and it does vary a little bit of what I see mostly. What I usually see is this. Person X decides their macros and he or she starts to fill out those macros with food. For their carb sources they use rice, for their protein source they use chicken, and then they have a little bit of fat left and they fill this out with walnuts. In that case you get often pretty weird combinations. So you have, for example, half avocado, 23 grams of chicken and 3 walnuts. And that's a combination you can make, but it does not make a meal. Or they have those super bland bowls of food that they prep in advance. And there's nothing wrong with it, but I feel you can do this a lot better. How? By adding more flavor, by adding a sauce. I mean, where's that sauce at? It needs sauce, and that's what we're gonna bring to the meal prep game. So what I do instead of combining individual ingredients that often don't really combine is to search for recipes and to tweak those. And I did find that there are some dishes that are better for meal prep, such as stews, pasta sauces, soups, curries, and any kind of slow cooker recipes. Those tend to keep very well in the fridge or in the freezer, and they often do get better overnight because all the flavors combine. And by doing this, you can enjoy a lot of different flavors throughout the week, such as Indian food, Italian food, Mexican food. And a lot of these dishes can also be combined with starches, such as rice, potatoes, quinoa, or you could just eat them plain by themselves. If you want to make starches, I do recommend that you store those separately because they might get soggy otherwise. When it comes to searching recipes, I find that Pinterest is one of the best platforms to do so. Their search engine on their site is a little bit wacky, so I do recommend that you use Google in order to search for recipes on Pinterest. And when it comes to finding good recipes, good search terms are key. I've often found that certain terms don't give you the desired results. If you search for keto recipes or low carbs recipes, for example, you often find recipes that are extremely high in fat and thus very caloric. And that's not something you're always looking for. So try to make it more specific. The more specific, the better. It's best to decide beforehand what you want to eat and then search for those kind of recipes, such as salad, stew, omelette, Mexican food. And within that you can be even more specific, so category specific, such as omelette wrap or chicken soup or Mexican salad. You can also use ingredient specific search terms. And if you would follow, for example, a keto diet, then this is what you want to use. You want to look at the ingredients that you can eat and then look for those specifically, such as spinach, cauliflower, avocado, or cauliflower recipes. And you can tweak a lot of the recipes that you find, and you have to be a little bit creative with this. You can replace more fatty beef by lean beef, for example. You can replace regular rice with cauliflower rice. You can add avocado, you can add pumpkin, you can add shiitake noodles, you can make omelets with mostly egg whites, and you can often add a little bit of extra protein. And here's another tip: while you're making your meal plan, make sure you also make your grocery list at the same time. Alright, what am I going to make today? We're gonna make Mexican fajita chicken and veggies, 3-minute tomato soup, pasta sauce, and Thai pumpkin soup. And if you've been following my vlogs, you have probably seen that I make this pasta sauce and 3-minute tomato soup for quite a bit now, because it's one of my favorite dishes to prep, and Menno loves those, so he's been eating this a lot. And I'll link all the recipes and the macros in the description box below. Ready? Let's start shopping. They have those everywhere in Brazil. It's the cashew nut fruit. And apparently they only stay good for about, I think, only 1 day, at least a very short time. And they sell this everywhere. I've never seen this before in any other country. And this is another thing they have. It's made of the palm tree, and it's sort of I would say almost a natural spaghetti. I think it's basically this made into thinner slices. They have this also in different forms. Even make lasagna sheets with it. Definitely gonna take one. I'm just back from the supermarket. I have all my ingredients. Now let's start cooking. First, I started with browning the meat, cooking the rice, and boiling the pumpkin, because that would take the longest. And while all those things were cooking and my oven was preheating, I started chopping the vegetables. I started with the fajita chicken. I chopped all the vegetables and the chicken in strips and combined those on a baking sheet. Then I added the taco spices, some olive oil, and some lime juice. I mixed it all well and put it in the oven. Then I started chopping the vegetables for the pasta sauce, while of course occasionally checking on my other food. Then I shortly stir-fried my veggies. You want to slightly undercook them, because otherwise it will get soggy and you're gonna heat this again. I combined the veggies, meat, pasta sauce, salt, and a little bit of sweetener and mixed it all well. Quick tip on getting better in estimating portion sizes: estimate the weight before you actually weigh it. By that direct feedback, you get better at estimating. Meanwhile, my pumpkin was completely cooked through. All I had to do was just drain most of the water, add the Thai curry paste, coconut milk, chicken stock cubes, and mix it all well. And while I cook, I always keep a bowl on hand to put all my garbage in to keep my kitchen clean. And in the end, while I was already cleaning my kitchen, I made a big batch of my 3-minute tomato soup. It's a wrap, and in my next video I'm gonna show you how I incorporate those dishes that I made today into meals throughout the week. And if you like this video and you want to see more of this kind of videos, please subscribe to my channel, and I would appreciate it if you give this video a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you guys soon.